But it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood.
For years now, audiences everywhere have watched a painful shift unfold among late-night hosts. The change hasn't been subtle, and many viewers have noticed it happening right before their eyes. Joe certainly didn't soften his words when he brought it up. When the topic came up, he spoke openly and made it clear exactly how he felt about the situation.
Then to be that show guy, he has to be a different guy.
And that's exactly why we're breaking it all down today. So get ready and hang on tight, because what's coming next should be quite a ride.
You know, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole. Which is pretty funny. But then,
really?
Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns.
Can you imagine someone who once hosted The Man Show, a program built almost entirely around edgy, dark jokes, later turning into one of the most recognized moral commentators on television today? It's quite a transformation. We're talking about the same person who back in the 1990s used the N-word in a comedy song and even performed blackface as part of a skit. Now he presents himself as the complete opposite of the entertainer he used to be. When those old clips and sketches resurfaced, he felt the pressure to make a public apology. But that situation brings up a bigger question people continue to ask. Has Jimmy truly changed as a person? Or is he simply adjusting his image to match whatever the moment demands? Joe took time to break down this issue in detail, offering his own clear perspective on what might really be going on.
In that case, you think that's him or a writer? Can't you tell?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
No, it's him, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
good. That's a good one.
He's a comic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host The Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous shit back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Funny thing to say. He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this. But it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, you know, and I think also, you know, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them. And I think he took that hit and, like, really doubled down in the other direction.
And that brings us to the bigger point. To really understand the situation, you have to realize how important late night shows are to the television networks that broadcast them. The host's job isn't only about telling jokes. These personalities also act as public representatives for the entire network.
And the late night talk show for, I guess, kind of my generation was the thing that everybody wanted. Kimmel and Fallon and all these guys, like, you got to host the Tonight Show, or Jimmy Kimmel's got his own show. You got your own show. You got the Letterman show. You got this show, that show. That was the thing, man. Right. You could get your own show like that. Like, you were fucking in. If they offered it to you, you took it. You took it. But then to be that show guy, he has to be a different guy. So now he's not. Colbert from the show was this genius parody. Now he's just Stephen Colbert.
Right.
Who he is.
They destroyed the essence by giving him.
As political themes became more common in late-night television around 2016, audiences slowly began drifting away. Viewership dropped, and several well-known hosts eventually chose to move on from their shows. Conan O'Brien stepped away from the traditional late-night format, and both James Corden and Trevor Noah later followed a similar path. Looking at it now, the whole situation seems increasingly strategic. The reason is simple. Podcasts have completely reshaped the entertainment landscape. Late night is no longer limited to a set time slot on television. Podcasts allow for longer, more thoughtful conversations instead of the usual 5-minute promotional chats about a movie or project. In that space, people can speak more freely. No forced games, no awkward segments, just real discussion. And that sense of authenticity keeps audiences coming back. During his conversation about this shift, Joe Rogan highlighted several major points that explain why the format has become so powerful.
There's not a fucking chance in hell that this is funny or going to work. And when you see those flat, corny, late night monologue jokes with no audience, those are so fucking cringy. And you're also dealing with a lot of these people that are not stand-up comics. So they don't even really, truly understand how to deliver it right. Like, they don't have the chops. What they're doing is just like reading off of a teleprompter. So a bunch of really good joke writers wrote them some stuff, and then they're playing to the audience.
I'm just like a casual viewer of like the late nights. I mean, I know they say like applause, but is that real like laughter and like, or are they like saying like, hey, clap?
Oh,
or...
there's someone who's doing this. There's someone in front of the crowd. There's a warm-up guy. They stand there, and there's applause signs. And then there's producers. There's the warm-up guy that's literally telling people to clap. They're like, okay, explain to the people.
Yeah.
Okay, when Jimmy comes out, I want a big round of applause. Let's practice this right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Fallon.
You probably already understood the point Joe was making. His explanation really highlights how staged these shows can feel. So much of it seems carefully manufactured. The conversations follow pre-approved themes, and even the spontaneous jokes often sound rehearsed. Sure, it may look more natural than the old days when obvious laugh tracks were added afterward, but the feeling of artificial setup is still there. Think about it for a moment. If a studio needs a glowing sign telling the audience when to laugh or clap, the sense of real humor disappears. Instead of letting people react naturally, the focus shifts to guiding their response. In other words, controlling the reaction becomes more important than genuinely entertaining the crowd. During the discussion, someone eventually asked Joe whether he would ever consider hosting a late night show himself. His reply to that question was unforgettable.
Look, I'm sure a lot of you already knew what Joe was pointing out here, but it really drives home just how fake these shows are. Everything about them feels manufactured, from the pre-approved talking points to the carefully scripted off-the-cuff jokes. And yes, while it's better than the days of blatantly adding canned laugh tracks post-production, it's still just as forced. Just think about it. When you have to rely on a sign flashing applause or laugh to remind the live audience what's supposed to be funny, it strips away any real authenticity. It's less about genuinely entertaining people and more about controlling the reaction in the room. But nothing comes close to Joe's response when a guest asked him if he'd be a host for a late night show one day.
Just roll with the punches.
Yeah. Would you do a talk show?
No, I'm doing one right now with Kyle Dunnigan. He's my
yeah.
guest. Why would I do that? It doesn't seem like a good way to talk to people. It doesn't seem like it's fun. It seems like it's too much pressure. It seems like there's too many people. It seems like the conversations become fake because you have 5 minutes until you cut to commercial, and they come over with cards, and the executive wants to talk to you, and the producers want to get in your ear, and we just feel like it just needs a little levity. You just need a little levity. So we're gonna bring the jester out. Well, I'm tired of the jester. I don't like the jester. And then the jester comes out with his little, and everybody goes, the jester's here, and the crowd starts clapping. The audience, they get that sign that says cheer, applause, applause. I've seen too many of them. I think it's a dead medium. I don't like.
And honestly, he had a strong point. That clip was recorded back in 2018, and even then, Joe was earning numbers that hosts like Colbert or Kimmel probably never expected from someone outside the traditional television system. But even setting the money aside, Rogan has always been a powerful source of content. His show brings in guests from all kinds of backgrounds: scientists, comedians, athletes, writers, and people with unique stories to tell. Many of them simply want to sit down and talk with someone who shares their curiosity. These are the kinds of conversations you rarely see happening on a typical late night couch. That's really the biggest difference. The atmosphere is relaxed, the discussions are longer, and the guests can actually express their ideas without being squeezed into a short segment. Now I'd like to hear what you think about this story. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe and leave a like. Thanks to everyone who took the time to watch.